Hello, book lovers, and welcome to Book Talk Radio Club. My name is Claire Perkins, and today I'm talking to author Lisa Ashlock. Lisa's second published book is The Final Chapter. A mother's fight she lived and died with, a daughter's struggle with grief. A family is torn apart due to lack of empathy, sympathy, ignorance, and greed. How can anyone move on after a death? How can no one shed a tear? How can no one be there to support the dying and not say their last goodbyes? Hello, Lisa. Welcome. Thank you for coming back on Book Talk Radio Club.
Hi, Claire. Thank you very much.
The final chapter is about your mum, Sharon Lee D'Amico. Tell me about her.
Well, my mom, she was by no means the perfect mother. However, she did the best that she could.
Don't we
and
all?
She did what she knew,
Yeah.
And she worked in retail her entire life as a manager up until she had faced health issues. And once the health issues started, she then spent days working in her garden, which she loved to do, and in the winter, you'd always catch her baking. My mom was full of life when she wasn't in pain, and she enjoyed making others laugh. She always stood right behind me no matter what I did. She always believed in me.
Mm. And you say in your book, and I quote, death can bring a family close together or tear them apart. However, it's the family that chooses the way they are affected as a family, a whole entity. What do you mean by that?
Well, the family chooses to grieve together, or they can choose to push each other away. The family can work together as they close a chapter of their loved one's life, or they can fight, argue, and they can push each other away. That's their choice.
Absolutely. Did you find writing the final chapter a cathartic experience?
Yes, I did. And a lot of the poems I wrote them the day that she had passed away. Each word was written. I was in tears throughout the entire book, even when I went in to edit it. I put all of my emotions into this book.
Yeah, I can imagine. I mean, people behave in different ways, in different situations. And when it comes to death, I mean, there's a whole other bunch of emotions and the reactions to them. What actually happened, if you don't mind me asking, that inspired you to write the final chapter?
Well, my mom, she was sick. She was in the hospital dying, and no one in the family called to tell me that she had went downhill.
Oh, my God.
In fact, Jeff had took her cell phone away from her. She couldn't call me. And in the age that we live in, no one remembers phone numbers.
No, of course.
She had a hard time remembering anyways. She had no way of contacting me. And the funny thing is, I spoke to Jean every day, and Jean knew the entire time that my mom was in the hospital and that she wasn't doing well, and she never told me.
Oh, my God.
I found out on my own. I ended up calling the hospital, all the hospitals around, and I found her. And I spoke to my mom right before she ended up in critical care. That's when it was too late. They took time away from me that I could have spent with her.
Yes.
And my mom deserved better than what my family was going to do in the end. No one wanted to financially help with the remains. They were going to let her sit in the morgue. I couldn't do that. She deserved better. So my husband and I took care of her remains. And I felt like in the end here, I needed to give her a voice that she'd never had.
Right.
Everyone needs to know the truth.
Yes. Yeah, I can understand that entirely. And they say that going through a very difficult chapter in one's life either makes or breaks you. When we become different people, what do you think?
Yes, it does. And I thought I couldn't make it through this chapter of my life. However, I did. I have become a stronger person due to the changes that occurred.
Yeah.
And you know what? We live one life, and we need to make it our best.
Yeah. And one chapter in particular caught my eye, dislocation from life. What is dislocation from life? Can you describe that?
Well, the individual acknowledges that, yes, they are dying. They realize they can't fight death anymore. Acceptance occurs at this stage. The individual may pull away from their loved ones because they feel that when they pass, if they pull away, their loved one won't hurt as bad. So the individual stops completing tasks that they once enjoyed, maybe like reading, watching TV, and they begin to sleep more and more every day, and then they become depressed.
Right.
Then the individual passing away will pull themselves away from family, friends, and everybody in their life, they'll sleep more and more. They'll try not to feel any emotions at all.
Right. Yeah, that certainly is dislocation, isn't it?
Yes.
So the final chapter you've written really for both the patient and their family, for the patient and family during the last stages and the family post-death. Am I correct in saying that?
Yes. The final chapter is for both because the book explains that both individuals that go through how to cope through the grieving process, not just the individual, but just also the whole family too.
Yeah. I mean, there are 5 stages of grief: denial, anger, bargaining, depression, and acceptance. And I thought only the ones left behind experience these emotions. I didn't think for one moment, didn't realize that the patient, the terminally ill patient, also goes through them. And they never even, I never even thought of that.
Yes, they do, because first, they're in denial that they're going to die.
Yeah.
They want to fight death, and they're very angry that they're dying. Then they go to bargain, and they're bargaining with God. Please don't take me. Give me one more chance, just a little bit more time. I'll be a better person if you give it to me. But once they realize that they can't change what's happening, then they become depressed. They start withdrawing from everyone in the world around them.
Yeah.
And once the individual sees that they cannot change what's occurring, then they will accept that, yes, their last days are near.
Yeah.
However, not everyone will go through all of the stages. They all may enter maybe half of the stages. It depends on their situation.
Oh, right. Right, I see. That's really interesting. I mean, death is such an emotive subject with so many points. I mean, regarding life after death. I mean, you just said we've got one life. Is that your thoughts on the subject? Do you believe we only have one life? There's nothing else?
Well, you have one life to live. You've got to make it your best. But it doesn't mean I don't think that there is another life that exists after ours.
Right, you're talking about this one life we have at the moment, then?
I believe that when one dies, another is reborn to pick up where they left off if they haven't completed their task in life.
Right. And there's so many tasks to complete. It's probably why we go through so many different lives. I think that, I read a long time ago that and I can't remember where it was, that we're born, before we're born, we choose what we want to experience, what we want to go through, and when we're born, we forget it in order to experience it, because if you remembered it, you wouldn't go through it and you wouldn't experience it. But sometimes when we have deja vu, that's us remembering what we've chosen, which I thought was a very interesting way of looking at it.
Yes, it is.
Isn't it just? Lisa, your first book, Am I Awake Yet? Living with a Loved One That Has Bipolar and How to Cope, was inspired by your daughter Alyssa. How is she, by the way?
She's doing well.
Good. Alyssa suffers from bipolar. Would you like to tell Book Talk Radio Club listeners about the book?
Sure. Am I awake yet? Now, that's my journey with my daughter at 9 years old. It was our fight together with getting her diagnosed at such a young age. It's our battle against bipolar and how we both learned to live with it and cope with it. Because it was my nightmare with accepting that, yes, I had a beautiful young girl that had mental illness. And let me tell you right now, because of it, I'm a huge advocate regarding mental illness and learning disabilities. And I tell everyone out there, you need any help whatsoever, contact me. I'll help you. Because I know what it's like. I've been through it.
Yeah, you're living through it. You describe the mania from bipolar as a hurricane, complete chaos. Are there warning signs prior to the mania?
Oh, wow. You better pay attention for the length of each mania attack that occurs.
Right.
The symptoms, they'll start with a depressive disorder, which will lead to, of course, irritability and anxiety. And in a child, the mania episode may lead to hyperactivity, irritability, like I mentioned, and mood swings that start from mild to severe. The individual may seem to be nervous. Their speech is going to be very, very fast. They're going to talk so fast, you're going to have difficult understanding them.
Right.
They also may believe that everyone is talking about them, staring at them, when and actually no one is.
Right.
And if they don't snap out of it, they can believe that someone is coming after them. They believe that everyone is against them if it's not taken care of. And the individual may even see things such as events or people that have occurred, but no one's actually there. And they also may not be able to pay attention nor sit still. They're going to pace back and forth. They have a difficult time staying organized. They cannot stay still because of all the energy that's built up inside of them. So they're going to run around the house aimlessly from one task after another.
And how long does this go on for? I mean, is there a general amount of time, or does it differ?
Oh, each child differs, and it seems that the children, they go through the manias faster, quicker than the adults do.
Okay.
Adults will last longer.
Right.
And they'll be awake for hours, days, and then once the mania is done, then they're going to want to sleep. Of course, they're tired, and they have no communication. They're not going to communicate. They're going to sleep.
God, it must be so exhausting for you as a mum to go through that and to see it as well.
Mom didn't get very much sleep, let me tell you that.
I can imagine. What medication is Alyssa on, and is it for life?
You know what? She's still on a Seroquel.
Right.
And it's been working, thank goodness. And she's going to have to be on a med for life, along with therapy. Therapy comes with it, too.
Oh, right.
I'm hoping as she gets older that Seroquel doesn't stop, because if it does, then we're going to have to find something else. So cross our fingers.
Yeah, absolutely. Your 2 books, Am I Awake Yet? And the final chapter, are geared towards helping your readers understand they're not alone in dealing with bipolar and grief. Do you intend to write more books in this vein, or will you be writing something completely different in the future?
Well, there will be a lot more books coming out that are geared toward helping everyone in regards to mental illnesses, learning disabilities, struggles of children with diseases. However, I'm taking a shockingly turn, and I'm working on a fiction novel right now.
Oh, right.
I need a change, and I think I need to give my readers a change also. So I'm going to surprise everyone with this next novel.
And you'll also get a whole new different lot of readers as well, because fiction is one thing, self-help and memoirs and parenting and special needs is another totally different group of readers. Or maybe it's not. I don't know, but you might get a whole new load of readers. Who knows?
I need a change here.
Where's your new book set? Can you give anything away?
Excuse me?
Where's your new book set? Is it set at current times?
Oh.
I mean, can you give anything away, or do you want to keep it a secret?
It's based on this child that has a very difficult life growing up.
Right.
We'll let it at that. I could say that she struggled. You know, she had a very different life than any other child out there.
Okay, well, that sounds fascinating. So where can Book Talk Radio Club listeners purchase the final chapter, and Am I Awake Yet?
Well, they can hop right on to Amazon, pull up my name, Lisa, capital Lisa, Ashlock, Ashlock, and that'll pull up my books right there.
Wonderful, wonderful. All right, thank you, Lisa. That was really interesting. Please come back on Book Talk Radio Club again. And in the meantime, good luck for the future. And thank you, everyone, for listening to Book Talk Radio Club. Thank you, Lisa.
Oh, thank you, Claire. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Sure.